Hey, Ethan here, and in this episode we'll be looking at Batman Return to Arkham, primarily for the PS4, even though I have the Xbox One version right here. It's a pretty mediocre remaster of Batman Arkham Asylum and Batman Arkham City, but I think it's now time for me to explain why.
Okay, let me just say that this will not be a full review of the games themselves, because I've already talked about Arkham Asylum and City twice already in the past, so I'll be mainly focusing on the differences that this remastered collection introduced. But anyway, the original versions of the games were developed by Rocksteady Studios for the 7th generation of consoles and were released in 2009 for Arkham Asylum and 2011 for Arkham City, both being a critical and commercial success and revolutionizing the superhero genre of video games. However, since these games were stuck on the 7th gen consoles and backwards compatibility was basically non-existent during this point in the 8th generation, this meant that in order to play these games on the Xbox One and PS4 meant that these games had to be re-released, so it was announced in 2016 that these games were being remastered for the PS4 and Xbox One, with them being developed by Virtuous. These remasters were going to overhaul the graphics of both games by putting them in Unreal Engine 4, instead of re-releasing the 360 and PS3 versions with their graphics fixed up and had also used Unreal Engine 3. It was also going to include all DLC released for both games, which gave Xbox players finally a chance to play as the Joker in Arkham Asylum, which I always wanted to try as a kid, being a 360 owner at the time. It was eventually released in July 2016 for the Xbox One and PS4, and I'm not a huge fan of these versions of the games.
Yeah, I grew up playing the Xbox 360 and PS3 originals, so of course childhood nostalgia is taken into account, but I don't know, I just can't see myself playing these on the regular.
Well, what's my main problem? What the did they do to the faces? Ew! It looks so much worse compared to the originals. Joker's face looks so flat and too bright in this version. Yeah, I don't know, something about the lighting just looks off in both games. Like take for example Batman's cowl and cape in Arkham City. The original version was blue, but the remaster just makes it look gray most of the time. Me personally, I prefer the blue cape and cowl, but now I think I'm just being nitpicky. The story and gameplay of both games is the exact same as it was in the original versions, so no gameplay improvements or changes at all. But what do I like about this version of the games? Well, I do like the pouring rain effect in Arkham Asylum a lot, and also the ability to change costumes during your first playthrough of Arkham City, but really outside of some texture and shadow improvements, and also having all content ever released for the games, there really isn't a whole lot that would want to make me play this over the originals, besides being able to play Asylum at 4K 45 FPS on my Series X, but like I said, there really isn't a whole lot that would want to make me play these on the regular. Yeah, for some reason the Xbox One X and Xbox Series X versions of Asylum run at 45 FPS instead of 60, while it's capped at 30 FPS on all PlayStation consoles. And also on both PS5 and Series X, Arkham City's main menu frame rate is uncapped for some reason too. Also, Arkham Asylum's main menu was green instead of the original blue. But if this is the only way that you can play these games, it'll certainly do the job just fine, and I think that it's good for people who have never played these before.
Well, that's basically Batman Return to Arkham for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. It's an overall pretty decent remaster of two of the best superhero games of all time. But if you ask me, I honestly think that the best part about it is that I still have my receipt from 2016 back when I bought it.